Get ready with me while Roy tell the story of the time that I thought I was going to an after party at Drake's, and it ended up being a party at his dad's house.
Going to Drake's party, but get Dennis instead.
Is a huge favor. I think you should ask for more paper and more paper and more paper. I'm blaming you for all this gambling.
Get ready with me while Roy tell the story of the time that I thought I was going to an after party at Drake's, and it ended up being a party at his dad's house. So this was back in 2019. I would like to preface that I was an adult. I was 22 years old. My friends and I are not from LA. We went down and we were able to get like a table at one of like a larger club down in LA. Had fun. And then one of my friends ended up meeting some guy who was like, hey, we like your vibes. Again, we're like not from LA, so this is not like a normal situation from us. And we're like, oh my gosh, how cool. He's like, so there's an after party happening at Drake's house. Like, do you and your friends want to go? And we're like, obviously, like that, yeah. Again, this is like not our normal scenes. We're like, for sure. One thing to note was that it was literally being televised that he was at some like basketball game in Canada, but we were like, he has a private plane. He can fly here quickly. Like, that's what's happening. So while we were in line, there was some like random like crazy man that was trying to like talk to us and was being real weird. And there was this private security guard who was helping like some celebrity who was there, and his name was Big Money. And Big Money, I know you follow me still. I love you so much. And he was like, hey, back up, and like was so sweet to us and was like very kind and protecting, but then was like, hey, let me get your number and like text me wherever you're going so I know that you're like getting there safe, because we were clearly like not a part of this scene. Like, this was like not our normal scenario that we're in. So our Uber pulls up and we pretty immediately are like, oh, Drake is not going to be at this party. There were like 15 people there. It was not super busy at all. And we're greeted by, it felt like out of a movie. It was this weird, creepy ass butler who was like probably even older than Dennis. Weird vibes. And they just kept like randomly like stopping and then like dancing and then continuing on with conversation. So just Dennis was there, which again, still not from this like area. I'm like, still pretty cool. Like, all right, like for the plot, let's see where this goes. Also, I'd like to preface that, like, I'm not a victim. I just thought it was a crazy story. It was a very weird and, like, uncomfortable situation, but, like, once it got to the point where I was like, this is too much, me and my friends left. So we were really only there for, like, maybe 20 minutes. While we're there, he's just being super, like, handsy and weird. He said some, like, really strange comments, which that's kind of what started leading us to be like, okay, this guy's odd. And like clearly Drake's not coming. So like we feel like we saw what we needed to see and we're ready to go. One weird thing is there were photos of Drake everywhere. Like his entire wall is just like memorabilia of Drake, which I thought was hilarious. But yeah, basically just like a weird, creepy old dude with his weird, creepy old butler. So we, after 20 minutes, are like, let's go. This is weird. There's like also not enough of us here for us to feel like super comfy. So we tried to call an Uber, but he lives like way up in the Hollywood Hills, and there was like a security guard at the beginning of the neighborhood, and they're like, oh, the security guard won't let us in. He's like, no joke, like a mile and a half up this road. And we're like, what the fuck? So we literally had to walk in the pitch black to get to our Uber because the security guard wouldn't be like letting our Uber in. No street lights at all. So we're walking, a group of, I think it was like 5 of us girls. And then all of a sudden we're walking and we see a car coming up from behind us, and it slows down, and it's the fucking butler. I don't know if I can cuss on here. And he's like, hey girls, you want to get in the car? Like, let me give you a ride. We're like, no, thank you. And we like start running. This happens like 2 more times. He keeps like making his laps, and like we're the only ones walking on the street. Pitch black, so scary. Then all of a sudden we see a figure walking behind us, and we're like, what? Like, what is that? So we start speeding up because we're like, that's so scary. Then the figure starts speeding up. We start running. The figure behind us starts running. So finally, one of my friends just stops and yells like, what's your problem? And we just hear this like sweet girl's voice, and she's like, I'm so sorry. Like, I was there and I was like getting kind of scared and freaked out. My friends didn't want to leave, so like I left. So it was just this girl walking down the street by herself, and she was trying to like keep up with another group of girls to like feel safe. And then we were like running away from her. So obviously she joined our group, and we made sure that she got home safe. But yeah, that's really it. He was an odd dude and was saying weird things. I'm not going to get into it just because I'm like, oh no, what? I don't know. I'm like a little scared. But like nothing bad happened. I'm not a victim. It was just a crazy story. And it's like one of my favorite fun facts to be like, I peed in Dennis Graham's toilet. So, yeah. And then next time we went to LA, which was like only the second time we were out, saw Dennis again. So I think this is just kind of like his thing. And we were talking to someone about it, and they're like, oh yeah, no, you never go to a party at Dennis's house. So I think it's just kind of like an LA thing that we were just not aware of. But yeah. Honestly, so fair. Next time I meet a celebrity's weird dad, I promise to make a better story time about it that's less lengthy. I will do better, and thank you for bearing with me.
So now we have like an idea of where Drake gets his persona from, or the lack of persona that he portrays, to be this macho man that he is. But he's still that same man who is neglected by his father chasing women. And the only reason your father is around you is because of your access to the money and your name and how much he can benefit from your name. That's the only reason he's there. And the only reason you're keeping him is because you still long for that fatherly love that he's denying you of, Drakey. I'm sorry if you're a Drake fan. I'm not even a Kendrick fan. And I usually say this to people, that I am a music fan. I like music. I just relate more to Kendrick because he seems more authentic to me than Drake. Drake's music has always sounded empty. Have you ever listened to someone speaking, and then even though they speak so intellectually, they are well spoken, but their words are so empty? That's exactly how I feel with Drake. You can resonate with him, but there's just this emptiness that he himself, nor his money, cannot hide. Behind that cosplaying, who is Drake really? Behind that facade that he keeps on showing to the world, who is Drake really? We have no idea. Because he, like that Fabio Jackson, who, the impersonator, who has taken the identity of someone and that he has erased himself, that he has to go on that journey of refining himself. That's how I would describe Drake, that he's constantly on that journey of finding himself, where he has not even found himself yet. He is still that same person. And where does he get that lack of emptiness from? The father. Because the apple doesn't really fall far from the tree. It doesn't really. And I thought about it and I was like, seriously. And the past usually has ways of repeating itself. So I don't know, guys. Like, what do you think of the story? I saw this and I was like, I'm going to share this. So let me know what you think, guys. I'm really interested. For me, I think that just like father, like son, one in the same bucket. And that's my opinion. You don't even have to agree with me on that one. Like, I don't know. Like, let me know what you think.